What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Let's get right into it. Here to bring you an NFL discussion video on why I believe my Falcons should go all out and target Kyle Williams in round two of this year's upcoming NFL draft. Let's get into it, guys. So, man, first time doing a Falcons video in a while. As a Falcons fan, it sucks, but it's a pros and cons of doing my channel personally. I'm not a Falcons themed channel. Unlike some other channels, they only do content on one team. I cover all teams or whatever interests me. As far as different teams and stuff like that. So that's the pros and cons of my channel. But I've done a Falcons themed video, I believe, since January 2nd. January 2nd was when I did my video on who I think the Falcons should target in round one. And that was obviously pre-combine, buzz, everything. I was on Jahad Campbell and Jahdae Barron early. And I said then, I don't know, they'll be there by the time we're picking in. They've only gained steam since. So we'll see what happens in the first round. But skip all that. Let's go to round two. Quiet as kept. We need a receiver. Kind of, sort of bad. There's Drake London's our number one guy clearly, but Darnell Mooney's good. But after that, it's a little iffy. I know Raymond McLeod stepped up last year, and um, what's the other receiver's name? And Hodge, he played a little role as well. But we need some more youth. We need some more talent. I think Kyle Williams is the guy. I'm not gonna lie. I discovered Kyle Williams via Chris Sims. Chris Sims put him on his receiver big board. Maybe a couple weeks ago. I'm like, who the heck is Kyle Williams? Never heard of him. Never seen him before. Then I watched the tape and I'm like, oh my goodness, he is the one. He's the one. 5'11", 190, 5'11", 190. Speedster wide receiver, more of an outside guy than a slot guy, but probably can do both as well. But he's a pretty good receiver, man. I like him a lot. Good hands. The size is a problem. We'll get into the pros and cons, but started off at UNLV his first three seasons, then ended up transferring to Washington State his last 2 years, and he was with Cam Ward for the 2023 season. Obviously, Cam Ward moved on to Miami. So, I'm going to talk about his landing spots as well. If not the Falcons, I have two other landing spots. We'll get into those now. Then we'll talk about the pros and cons of Kyle Williams. So, first landing spot, clearly I want my Falcons to get him. But if not, the Titans are a big, dangerous spot to land for Kyle Williams. Obviously, as I just said, the Cam Ward connection is there. The Titans need a receiver badly. They only have right now Van Jefferson, Traylon Burks, and Calvin Ridley. That's not going to cut it. So, and also Kyle Williams and Cam had a good connection. They had a good connection. I believe like 7 touchdowns. I want to say 800 yards, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. So they had a good connection there for one season. They need some youth. They need some electricity there. They need some speed there. So Kyle Williams to round two for the Titans at pick 35 above my Falcons makes sense. I'm not gonna lie to you, that does scare me there. So, that makes a lot of sense there. Hopefully, they like Isaiah Bond or someone knows more, but I would probably lean towards them getting Kyle Williams if we don't jump them. But if not, let's say the Titans bypass them at pick 35. Our Falcons, or my Falcons, I should say, we bypass them at pick 46. I will look at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams right now don't have a round two pick. They could trade back up and get one because they need a receiver badly as well. I know Tutu's on a 1-year deal. They lost to Marcus Robinson. They have Jordan. What's the big guy name? Jordan something. But no, I also have Puka and Devontae Adams. But Tutu is on a 1-year deal. I would like to see them get a Kyle Williams also. He's a guy that fits their system perfectly. And going to the pros and cons of Kyle Williams leads into that. He's a guy that fits certain schemes because he needs to be schemed open. Plain and simple. 5'11", 190. His play strength isn't really there. The game to really watch his pros and cons too that really stands out is the Syracuse game, the Holiday Bowl game. I think the Holiday Inn or the Holiday Bowl, whatever it's called. But Look up him versus Syracuse and watch that game. You saw the best and the worst of Kyle Williams. When the Syracuse guys pressed him and put their hands on him early inside of his routes, then it was a problem. He couldn't get open, had a tough time, stuff like that. But when he did get open, he was electric. He was good, all that good stuff. So that's what the main thing with him. Can he beat the press? Can he handle guys being physical? And right now, rookie year, probably first couple years, I would say let's not try that. Let's scheme you open. And the best one, in my opinion, the best two places to scheme you open right now would be the Rams and their motion offense. They love the motion guys over, and also the Falcons. Zach Robinson, ROC. He came from the Sean McVay lineage. He was I think a pass coordinator with the Rams for a couple years. So we kind of not the same exact way as Sean McVay in their offense, but we take some stuff from there. A lot of motion, a lot of movement as well. So Kyle Williams with one of us makes sense. But as I said, the Cam Ward thing with Titans, even though they don't run out that style of offense, they still might storm in there and just say, hey, we need talent. Let's go ahead and win there. Another con as well is kind of his deep ball tracking is very good, but for some reason, especially on like vertical routes, he kind of drifts away from the ball. He's not really a contested ball catcher, and also he's not really a hands catcher. He's more of a body catcher. That's something to me that's a kind of a negative. Go up and snag that thing. He's not doing that. It's gonna fall into his bread basket. He's gonna squeeze the ball into his body instead of catching with his hands. And that's something I'm not really the biggest fan of. And the same thing I said earlier with the drifting, he kind of drift away naturally from the ball. We want you to go to the ball and attack the ball instead of going away from it and let it fall to you. Go attack it. Go attack that thing. Something he can learn maybe, but he's been good at what he's been doing so far. Is he willing to change that, or is he coachable enough to change that? We'll see. Maybe just natural form. Not a worst thing, but you would rather attack the ball than wait for it to come to you. The NFL is different than college. These safeties come down harder, more stickier coverage, can get open, tighter windows, all that good stuff. So you want to have some more aggressiveness from Kyle Williams as far as play strength, and as well as going to snatch the ball out of the air. Another big con from him as well is him in the running game. He is not a good run blocker, not even close. So he's gonna have to work on that to try to stay on the field on certain downs. But on to on to the not prawns, on to the pros of Kyle Williams. Electric, quick, fast, all that good stuff, man. 5'11", 190. He ran a 4.4, and it shows on tape. And overall, as I said before, not the best hands. He's a good catcher, but catches with his body a lot, especially on the vertical routes. Catches with his body, but he can contort his body in good, in extremely hard ways to get the ball. So he can contort his body, twist, turn in midair, and make the catch. But I just want to see that happen more. And like I said, that's more of a not contested, but more of a bad throw catcher. Like it can be kind of off on the path, and he'll snatch it out and stuff like that. But he's still not doing contested catches the same way. So that's something for me he got to work on. But as I said, he catches at different angles if need be. Natural deep ball tracking. Like I said, his deep ball tracking is good. He just veers away from the ball at certain times. He understands soft spots and zone coverage. That's a major thing you want from your receivers. And that's really it. Really, he made. I guess the last thing I have on my notes. I'm looking at my notes now. The last major point I want to hit on. He maintains his speed throughout different route changes. Like trying to go left and right and go back up or something, or come back down. He keeps the curl routes, whatever. He keeps the same speed. He doesn't really lose speed when he changes the directions. Ball in his hands and also ball out of his hands, trying to run his route, trying to get open. So that's a good thing as well. But like I said, man, I love the explosiveness. I love the talent. He's a good player, and I think round 2 for us for the Falcons make a lot of sense. There's some guys out there that fits us a lot. I like Ty Felton from Maryland. I like Williams. Shoot, if Kyle Williams does go to the Titans, I like the Miami excuse me, the Miami Hurricane slot receiver. I know he ran a slow 40 time. He had an excuse for it. And even if he didn't, I saw the film, I saw the tape. He's not that slow. He ran like a 4.8 or something. Xavier Respiro, something like that his name is. He's a good player. I don't care what the 40 time was. The film doesn't show that. He gets open. He makes catches. I'm fine with him. So if and he won't be a second rounder for sure. He'll probably be a fourth, fifth rounder, and there'll be a great snag there as well. So, if we go defense the first round and go center maybe second round to replace Drew Dahlman, if Kyle Williams isn't there, I wouldn't mind third, fourth, maybe even fifth round if he's still there. Xavier from Miami U, that would be great as well. So, Kyle Williams for us, not the end all be all, but someone I would really, really, really like for us to target in the second round. It's tough, man. We have limited picks in this draft, but I'm thinking we can trade up maybe above the Titans. Maybe the Giants want to trade back down a little bit. Maybe the Browns will. Doubtful. It's doubtful. It's a good class. Also the Jaguars. They're in a tricky spot too. They let go of Christian Kirk. They have what? Diami Brown. They have what's the guy that was a Bill? Shucks, Gabe Davis. But they don't have much either, except for Brian Thomas. So they could also, and Liam Combs, a good OC, or a good OC. Now he's the head coach. Now I think he's still calling plays for the Jags, or he will call plays. So Kyle Williams pairing with Brian Thomas, that's not bad either. At pick 36, right below the Titans. So we'll see what happens. Gonna be a very interesting draft, but I hope my Falcons come out with probably a day 2, early day 3, wide receiver that's going to help out from day 1 if need be. And I think Kyle Williams can do that. We love putting guys in motion. We love getting guys moving pre-snap. And Kyle Williams, that will do him justice probably his whole career, but especially for the first couple years until he gets a little bit stronger, a little more into his man body. But we'll see what happens, though, guys. That's it for the video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.